Good to go. Welcome everyone to Division 2 of HDR. Now we had D3 yesterday, and now it is D2's turn to get to racing in Spain. Right. It is short quali, nice and quick. Then we get to 33 laps of the Spanish Grand Prix, a 50% race distance, where we've got, I think, 12 contesting this. A full grid yesterday, 12 today, and 16 expected for D1 tomorrow. So across the weekend you should see a decent amount of racing action, just like we saw yesterday. So the qualifying feed is going to pull up at some point, and then we'll be able to get started on this. Looking back through the results history, it's pretty clear who our favourite for pole position is. It's K5M5, the man who gets a lot of pole positions, not very good at converting them into race victories, but getting the pole shows that he is generally the fastest guy over 1 lap pace, so it can be an encouragement for him. Spain is not the best track to get pole at, because of the long run into turn 1, which makes it difficult to hold on to, but it's still a valuable marker to show how quick you are, so every driver will be vying to get as close to that coveted pole spot as they can. And the first car leaving the garage is going to be Sefer, as he is now going to head out onto the track, and it's so far looking like it's going to be a close fight for pole between K5. The two Williams are always in the fight. Arweb, as of recent, has really turned it up, and he should be in this fight as well. Fexen is a dark horse for this pole as well, and potentially even Sefer. As we also have debutants. Muta raced D3 yesterday. This is his first race in D2, and Ported Celery makes a long-awaited return. Having raced here a bit in Season 1, he is now back as Luke. Just Sefer and K5 out on the racetrack at the moment, as we now see him going through Turn 5. K5M5 is just about to go into Turn 4, and Fexen is going through Turn 3 at the moment. So, looking to the qualifying pace now. It's not the 3-part quali, it is just 1 qualifying, which means you get about 3 runs around the track to try take pole at. DeVito's already a hater. Great start. K5M5 in the sector 2 of his outlap now. There's not a lot of weaving going on to warm the tyres. No, you're trying to scare me. Okay, but I still think you're a hater. Sefer now starts his lap, and up into the hot lap mode. He used a bit of overtake at the start of the straight, gets into turn 1 with about half his battery remaining, and that is ultra conservative on the curb, doesn't even use it. Yeah, I did call you AI, so then it does make sense. Yeah, actually, then you have done the right thing. So, Sefer now into turn 4, not really using much of the track at all. This is as banker of a banker lap it gets, and you can clearly see he's not pushing it that well. So we're going to go over to a driver who is bound to be pushing the limits a little bit harder, and look at K5 already in his first run has the confidence to throw the car across the turn 2 curb already, and now into turn 4 he's going to be right on that ragged edge limit and keeps it stable through turn 4 as well. And now into the apex of turn 5, slight downhill braking, and into the apex, dig in with the front left tyre. And now it's slight uphill towards 6 and 7, and you want to avoid the sausage curbs on both sides, but get as close to the red and white curbs as you can. Turn 9, fully flat out in these ultra-fast Formula 1 cars. And now a very short straight, DRS open for a little bit, down towards turn 11. Sefer's initial time of a 1:12.3 is expected to be thrashed pretty quickly by this man, K5M5, who is absolutely flying on this lap. Now, a good note about the turn 12 exit is it's sort of known as an RKO corner, because there is a track bump that eliminated a couple drivers yesterday, including Angie twice, very notably. K5 goes fastest by just over 0.2 of a second, and Fexen slots in behind. just 1,000th of a second off of his teammate. That really goes to show you how close it is for these fine margins, especially at the regime. Hypochondriac is finishing off a lap. He is a full-time Division 3 driver and really showing it in the lack of pace so far. Trixie's on an out lap and Mumford is at the start. No, he's near the end of his lap. So we're going to look to Mumford now, exiting turn 12. And now round the bend of 13 and 14 we plunge. As a short run to the line, battery runs out and Mumford goes fastest for the moment, ousting K5M5 off of pole on the first runs. Takes a very good lap. And he's done just that. Angie can't do it. He only gets to third. Arcas crossing the line. P6 only. And we have Muta in the Aston Martin on mediums. Only P7. So it's pretty much a wasted run on the mediums. He's only got ahead of Hypochondriac, who is surely bound for improvement from that run. Trixie. Halfway battery done. And halfway through the lap also done. As we now head into the sweepers of 10, 11, which is barely a corner, and then turn 12, swinging it round all the way on 4th gear, as a little bit of oversteer on the exit, no bother for Trixie, and flat out through the last corner of the racetrack, and a short DRS run to the line, get a bit of slipstream off the McLaren for good measure, and P6 for Trixie at the moment. So the McLarens are going to be working together with Trixie because they're all McLaren drivers. We've got 3 McLarens out on track essentially. Trixie's not scoring points. No wait, Trixie's not scoring points for McLaren or Haas. So now we have Ported Celery back on debut. A sort of debut after a long return. Really struggled to nail it into the apex of 4. And now turn 5 sends him well wide as well. Ported Celery is having a difficult first lap, to say the least, as 6 and 7 also yield a lot of understeer from him. Arcas has retired at the final corner. We're not going to be able to see it, so actually we might. K5M5 might get us a view. Yep, he's I think he's crashed. Oh, K5's lost it. K5 is out. K5 is out. Oh my god, K5 got unfocused by Arcas, and K5 has driven it into the barriers at the final corner. He was maybe going for another run, and that is qualifying over for a poleman favourite. Looking back to the Alpine now, Luke crosses the line, only P8, and Arweb crossing the line, P7. So my predictions were quite wrong on the first runs. It's actually Mumford at the top, and K5M5 has binned it in qualifying along with Arcas. That is 2 drivers out. Next one on the track right now is just 2 cars that are on in laps. And what can we take from these first runs? It is McLaren with 1 driver in a very good position, well rounded at the regime with P4 and P5. They'll have a good time being able to work together. And gets out of the way for the Alpine, but he's on an in lap himself, so it's no issue there. So, right, Web 5.7, and because they're all on in laps at the moment. Okay, 5 cursing his luck as he's going for another lap already on the same set of tyres. This is a bold attempt. He's going to go for it again. He thinks he can improve on these set of tyres, so let's see what luck he can find this time around. Ported Celery going into turn 1 and gets it nicely on the apex, but using the turn 2 curb is not ideal, so it may cost him a few hundredths of lap time as we now head uphill on this long sweeping right-hander towards turn 4, 3.5 tenths up already, so it is yielding a bit of progress for him, and everything looks a little more settled on this lap. Maybe his tyres just needed a little bit more time to warm up, as Big Melt on his first run goes P3 just ahead of Angie, and he'll have another good run to try beat K5, who is set to start on the front row even despite his qualifying crash, because his first run did a very good job for him. And now Ported Celery's totally out of battery and only half a second up, after 2 sectors. It still looks like an understeery mess aboard that Alpine. He's really struggling to get the car turned in. He really needs to dial in a bit more front wing, as he's almost binned it and invalidated. So that's a run wasted on these tyres, as crosses the line, and it won't yield any improvement for him. So now watching Muta, he is half a second up on his time, but he needs way more than that to be remotely competitive with the other drivers at the moment. That may even not even get him past Arcas, who is out of the session. Hypochondriac's also on an out lap, at 7.5 tenths up. That's still not very good, actually. It might get him ahead of Arcas, but other than that, it's not going to yield him a huge amount of positional improvement. At the final corner, is that Sefa finishing another lap? Yes, it is. 2.5 tenths up as he crosses the line now and goes to the front row, and crucially ahead of K5 M5, who will be defenseless to any improvement. Muta only goes P9, and he's on his in lap at the moment. So let's watch Tripsy driving the Haas car. Those Ferrari engines sounds weirdly muted now with this new update. And into first corner, takes it relatively gently, and a wider line through turn 4 as well. Trixie taking narrow line on the exit, wide on entry, and 1/100th down on his time at the moment. He's basically matching first sector, but surely there can be more time he can find. Trixie going through turn 9 now, easy flat for him, as overtake button enabled, and half of the battery gone, more like 2/3 of it now, as he is finding a little bit more time through these next corners of the lap. Turn 12, staying very, very narrow to it. A lot of drivers take very different approaches to that corner. Muta's out, and it's the same fate at the final corner, and Trixie keeps his foot in, but is invalid. That's another driver who is a victim of the pit lane here at Spain. We've had, what, 3 cars now crashing at the final corner. K5 did it in his own way, but the other 2 presumably crashed in the pit lane. And Arweb has now but 2 flat-out right-handers left to go, and a whole lot of battery to shed, as he goes only P6. It is very, very tight at the front of the field right now. Angie is on his outlap at the moment, as he'll be able to do this and then one final run afterwards. Same thing with Arweb. I think that's most of their deals at the moment for anyone out on the track. And Angie is going to turn his battery on never, because he's actually pitting, and it's an in-lap. So, watching aboard Fexin, who is 2 and a bit tenths down after 2 sectors, and invalid. So, nothing for him there. Hypochondriac trying to get himself off the row with a wooden spoon. Let's see. Currently in last place. If he finishes the race, he gets points. So that's all he needs to do now. Hypochondriac driving it through turn 12. Looks like he is on TC and auto gears from the looks of it. And Hypochondriac now sweeping through the last corner of the track, across the line, and still in last place by half a tenth. Webb onto the pits as well. So that is everyone into the pits so far, and with just over 5 minutes to go, we have a McLaren on pole position, Mercedes on the front row, and K5 still holding on in third despite crashing out of qualifying. Big Melt and Angie are your 2 Williams drivers, very nip and tuck with each other in P4 and P5. Arweb in 6th place, Fexin in 7th, and then Trixie, Muta, and Arcas. Muta and Arcas both out, but P11 and P12 are well away from the rest of the field right now. Right, waiting for the final runs will probably take a minute or so. So, does anyone from chat have anything to say? Or are we stuck in a forever realm of silence. Oh wait, I'm getting a call. नहीं आ सकता. Maybe. Mum called. Diamond's predictions for where you'll start. Okay, so Big Melt, Angie, they're definitely jumping you. Rweb can. I think the answer is going to be P6. Flov making very bold predictions there that you'll still be P3 in 2 minutes time before anyone's done their next lap. Very, very brave of him. And for the final run, he's gone very, very early. Right, we back. Now, watching along his outlap, getting a bit of temperature into the tyres for the moment, as one more flying lap on fresh, soft tyres he has. Two flat out corners, turn the battery on, turn it on, turn it on! He's doing 2 outlaps, surely, yeah. That's why he did his next run so early. Don't tell me he forgot. I mean, he's pushing. If I get pole, can I get head admin rolls back? Depends if Big Melt approves of your takeover. Ported Celery is pushing, but he doesn't appear to be using any battery. Now, let's look at a driver who's actually pushing. Big Melt has used a lot of battery in the first sector already. 40% only left for him. And he's a little bit way up in the first sector. He's locked up, and he's almost spun, and that's almost a lap wasted. But he's going to keep carrying this on to try just find any last slimmers of lap time. There's no point bailing out now. There's another spin, and Big Melt is going to lose even more time. And there's sector 2. He's backed off. He's going to charge the battery and go for a run again. Big Melt has cut his losses, as we now only have Hypochondriac on a lap at the moment. Division 2's back marker, looking for a little bit of lap time, sliding it through 6, 7, 8, and now uphill, flat out through turn 9. Get the DRS open, get the overspeed now, down towards a long left-hander. Very difficult to overtake in this section. The main overtaking, you get it all done at the first corner of the racetrack. Hypochondriac now through turn 12, and 2 more flat out corners left to go before he can finish the lap. Hypochondriac about to cross the line, 30 seconds left to go, and can't get off the back row. Actually, he can. He beats him by 100th. Mumford, the pole man, looking to extend his advantage out in front. Are there any cars that are going to cross the line before him? No, I don't think so. Or maybe there is Trixie. Trixie is a 10th and a half down, so he's not looking like a threat to improve his spot on the grid unless he's going to use a lot of battery. Trixie has almost dropped it. Oh, he almost ended up like K5, but he has just about kept it together. And Mumford pits, so there is no improvement of his pole time set to come from Mumford. Angie is going to be the next one to cross the line. Mumford defenseless, K5 defenseless. What can Angie do? Up to P3, just ahead of K5. Now we look to Big Melt. Slight improvement. Got a nice slipstream. Got up to the front row, but still not enough for pole. And Sefer goes pole with a 1:11.9. Our first driver into the 1:11s is Sefer, and what a lap that is from him. Can anyone top that pace? We're watching Rweb now. and he is going to try. Fexin can't improve. Hypochondriac is not going to improve either. R12 is the last man on this track. Who can stop Sepha's pole position party? It's the regime up top. Then it's McLaren on the front row. Williams rock out row 2. K5M5 is P5. What can R12 do? Out of the final corner. Battery to the line. And oh my god! R12! I think he's just gotten pole! He has! R12 steals pole right to the last, away from Sepha, and it is now McLaren on pole, and Mercedes back down to the front row. R12, with a last gasp, amazing sector 3, manages to clutch pole position by just 1/100th of a second. What a qualifying session that was. The top 6 are separated by 2.5 tenths, and what a final sector that was from R12. Let's just go take a look at that final sector. 21.1. He is 2 tenths up on Sepha. He has the fastest sector 3 of anyone. Wow! He gained it all in sector 3. Last corners of the racetrack. Absolutely clutch there. What a lap from R12. Right, now. Looking ahead to the race now, we have an enthralling fight between a lot of highly competitive drivers. Let's see what's going to happen as we get to turn 1 of the Spanish Grand Prix. I did not expect that from R12. Really thought the lap was only looking for maybe P3, P4, but he clutched up massively on the last corners of the lap, which is frankly crazy considering you have like 2 corners and then the rest of it's just flat out. It's frankly insane. You guys can ready now, come on. Right, I can hear the start signal now. We are about to go racing in 5 lights time. McLaren on pole, Mercedes alongside him, it's lights out and away we go. Great start from R12. Sepha's gotten a pretty poor getaway, and immediately Mumford is on the attack. Big Melt, K5 and Angie are battling side by side into the first corner, and it's R12 continuing to lead from Sepha. Mumford top 3 has not changed, but the Williams pair are now wheel to wheel, and it's going to be Big Melt ahead of Angie. K5 side by side with Angie now. Possibly the Williams too, going side by side again into turn 4. Elbows out, battling between them. Doesn't seem to be much by the way of team orders, but K5 is going to try a double pass on both Williams, and he's going to succeed. The Williams are caught battling each other, and K5 saw an opportunity to go around the outside of both of them, and K5 is now up to P4, Trixie up to P6. Big Melt and Angie have both dropped the field. Sepha is in P2. K5 is starting P6 because he crashed out after his first qualifying run at the final corner. He got a snap of oversteer because there was a car stopped on the track because someone else had also crashed there, and K5 just lost it and now starts from P6, but he's already up to P4, so that's half of the mission done for him there. Now he's just got 2 McLarens and 1 Mercedes to try and get past, and immediately R12 is trying to break the slipstream. Sepha's going to follow him, and Sepha's going to gain, but he's going to be patient for now. Now is not the best time to make a move. He has to wait for DRS to open, and then he can go charging on his way up to the back of that McLaren. It's Papaya 1, Papaya 3, and the regime sandwiched in between. K5 in Ferrari, sitting behind P4, and then it's Angie. Big Melt in P7, Muta's had a good start, up to P8, Fexin down to P11. Terrible fate. Hypochondriacs into the pits already, and that's pretty dreadful already. Is he changing his wing or what? Yep. Lap 1 damage has rendered his race pretty moot. As Ported Celery is now on the back of Arcas. He will not have DRS on the car ahead for the moment, or will he? No, he hasn't got it. Not yet. And he's going to be able to close up. Now, looking at the tyres, we have mediums for the top 6, and then Big Melt in P7. That's why he lost out so badly. And then Muta, then Arcas, then Luke, Fexid, Hypochondriac. No soft tyres this time. We saw a few soft tyre attempts yesterday, but none this time. And now Sepha on the back of R12. Sepha gets alongside, and Sepha is set to take the lead, and does. R12 down to P2, and it's Mercedes leading now. But can he pull clear of DRS? That is the big key. R12 is going to maybe try go for an immediate repass, and does get it actually. Sepha seemingly got the line wrong, and R12 now repasses. Mumford is going to try look for the opportunistic round the outside. The inside line at 4 turns to the outside line at 5, and maybe he can get the high ground on the exit. Not quite. Sepha squeezes him out, and this battle continues. Sepha might try down the inside of R12 into 6, 7 and 8. I'd never do that, but Sepha risked it, and they've all made it through safely for now. And the 3-car fight for the lead is looking very tasty at the moment. Sepha sits back patiently, has to go a little bit defensive because Mumford is right there waiting. K5 also right there, so is Angie, so is Trixie. Big Melt's falling off the pack. Muta is actually on the back of him. Big Melt and Spain do not gel together. Sepha on the back once again. Mumford clearly made a mistake through the last few corners because he is now prone to K5. Sepha once again will get the rear wing open, will get the lead of the race, and K5 is going to have a go at Mumford this time. K5 down the inside we go, aggressive move, and K5 M5 watches Mumford go deep into the corner, and watches Mumford get wheel banged, hit off, and losing a lot of places. Mumford has succumbed to a poor wheel-to-wheel fate, and now he is down to P7, Muta in P6, Trixie in P5. Now it's a 5-car battle for the win, and Mumford is now right with Big Melt, and this will be heaven sent for Big Melt, who now has a DRS man to feed off of. So disaster for one McLaren gives free real estate to a Williams, and we've now got Ferrari up in the podium places. So overall this is looking pretty good. K5M5 now sweeping it continually through turn 12. Are we going to see anybody get RKO'd by any bumps? No, at the moment. Looks like that bump is taking an off day today. It was hard at work yesterday evening on Friday, but today it seems to have taken a rest day. And R-Web is now the one with the DRS open, and R-Web is now the one to take the lead of the race. Zephyr does not fight it, and wisely so. It's all about the DRS tactical battles, as K5M5 and Angie are within 3.5 tenths of each other. Still 5 cars remain in this fight. Big Melt's actually losing to Mumford, so it's not as heaven sent as I expected. Zephyr's looking for possible moves at 7 and 8. I think he's just trying to keep R-Web honest, but it's very difficult to pull away when there's so many cars. So many cars all around. And what's this at turn 9? Fortizelleri's finally got the move done on Arcas, but Arcas might be able to get him back, and Fexed is right there in the hunt as well as we head into turn 10, 11, 12. It goes deep, the Sauber, and it is now Fexin taking the place. R-Web's been RKO'd! R-Web's been hit with an RKO from the bump! And Mumford, I think, might have just followed him. And it's Mumford now, sliding everywhere. Clearly, that was bump inflicted, and R-Web's been RKO'd, and K5M5 is now into the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. I've been talking about that bump on the track for quite a while, saying it's not going to pop up or it's on a rest day today. But I think I might have just unleashed the ultimate comms curse, because R-Web has now been hit with a turn 12 RKO. Zephyr now down the inside of K5M5, not willing to wait for turn 1, willing to go for it immediately, and there's going to be space for him to actually pull it off, and K5 yields it, and Zephyr's now back up into the lead. Angie running into the back of K5M5, who is now on the rear of Zephyr, and he has a full tanker battery to entertain himself with. So turn 1 could get very interesting with 4 cars in this fight. Is anyone going to commit a large battery send, or are we going to see it still be calm and civilized as everyone makes it through the bump again? R-Web is trying to recover from the RKO as through the final corners. Looks like the final corner, Dirty Air, does make it a little harder, and K5 gets past. And who else is going to pass? Angie's going to pass too. Is Trixie too? Yes, he is. 3 cars have overtaken Zephyr on this straight. Wow, what a disaster for Zephyr. Down from the lead, and it all started when he made that audacious move into 7 and 8, as he's now in a ghost fight with Trixie. This essentially becomes time trial quali laps until one of them can get ahead of the other, and looks like it is Trixie, the one who emerges the one who emerges victorious from that fight. Right, Zephyr's now looking for a move into turn 1 of this racetrack. So is Angie, so is Trixie, and we're going to get very good heli cams of the view of Angie, and oh my god, we almost went 4 wide, but it's going to be 2x2 instead, and side by side, K5 and Angie, Zephyr and Trixie, Angie emerges victorious out of him and K5, and Trixie stays ahead of Sepha. 4 cars are battling so closely side by side. This is enthralling to watch. Through turn 5 again. And now we have Ported Celery ahead of Arcas. But Arcas is capable of fighting this back, and he's not going to be able to do it at the moment, but let's just enjoy the views of so many cars racing so closely with each other. And let's get a little thumbnail screenshot. There we go. Angie, K5, Trixie, Sepha, no safety cars yet, and I don't expect to be any, to be honest, because so far it's clean racing, it's all good, and it's pretty hard to bin it around Spain. Even the RKO isn't likely to get you in the barriers, it's just likely to get you in the runoff towards the old layout. Now, Angie versus K5, going into first corner. Trixie's going to look for it, but there's no move available, and Big Melt now passes Mumford, and Arcas now repasses Ported Celery. So fighting going on all throughout the field. Big Melt now has clean air, but might that be a bit of a curse given how potent the DRS effect seems to be around this racetrack? Muta and Arweb side by side. Arweb goes defensive and stays ahead, but it's the switcheroo on exit which Muta can't make work. Right, now looking towards the final corners of the track. Once again, we're going to see K5, Angie, Trixie, and Sepha all battle it out once again. They all have to be very careful, and Sepha's already got 3 seconds, so it's pretty shit. K5 getting the move done on Angie this time, and no moves behind him, so K5, now it's his turn to take the lead, and the lead of the race is going to become very important when it comes to pit stops, because you keep these tenths, you keep the advantage you gained once you've stopped. So, you want to be in the lead and then pit. You want to pit from the lead. Trixie spun. Turn 5. I didn't see the contact, if there was any contact, but Trixie has now spun and he has dropped out of the fight. It was a 5-car battle, but Arweb got RKO'd. It was a 4-car battle, but Trixie has spun at turn 5. 1 by 1. The amount of cars left in this fight is dwindling. And Trixie is not going to be happy with that. And then there were 3. Arweb up to P4 despite being RKO'd is quite impressive in my eyes. Angie's going to get the DRS. K5, no point defending it. And K5 yields it. And Angie now takes his turn at leading. They may look like rivals, but for now, the leaders are working together to pull away from the rest of the field to make sure this battle can only be contested among the leaders. Big Melt and Fexin now side by side into 4. Big Melt stays ahead. We are now watching K5M5 vying for the lead. Sepha also in the hunt as well. Battery looking pretty decent for all of them. Oh, danger for Arweb. He's already low on fuel. How do you mess up that badly with fuel? That a third of the way into the race you're already lacking. Trixie passes Ported Celery now. Nice and easy move, or not. Ported Celery fights back, and Trixie is still stuck behind the Alpine. He won't have much tower advantage left. But he does have a skill advantage, as Truxie now goes side by side with Ported Celery, who has DRS as well, but it's no contest. Fexin double overtake on Mumford and Big Mel. Good stuff from Fexin. That's K5 and Angie now side by side. Angie throws it down the inside into 4. K5 he leaves him the space, and he has to. Sefer has a big slide. Angie and K5 M5 now going at it into 7 and 8 once more. Hanging on for dear life. K5, Angie and Sefer. Papa Kondrek into the pits again. Is he here to end his suffering or what? Right. Back in a sec, but Muta and Mumford going for the early pit stops with the undercut. Look into the lead now. Right, might just have to get something from the fridge real quick. Order still as is. We're watching Angie, K5, Sefer in this fight for the lead. Oh, I'm slowly closing back up, but with fuel problems. Let's check his steering wheel. He is break even on fuel. He is minus 0.02. And Angie pits for the undercut. Sefer, no, not this again. Right. Sefer's now going to lose a boatload of time because of that disconnect. And Arweb is going to close back up to him. And Arweb is going to get a chance back at the podium now. And Arweb against Sefer, but he's a bot. This is painful. Hello, Leisure. Shame you can't race today. It's been a very good Grand Prix so far. Big Mel in the DRS wheel tracks of Fexin. Angie has no DRS on anyone. That could be a weakness of his undercut. But let's see. K5 now running on his own. And K5 is not going to box. He's going to stay out a little bit longer. Okay. Carrying on now. Oh, still with fuel concerns. K5 comfortably up. K5 continuing on. Going for an overcut. Web pits. Undercut on K5 now. Angie, maybe the undercut wasn't the best idea now. He didn't force it. Looks like electricity died for Cepha, that's why he's disconnected. So, that's very unfortunate, and his race is done for. Watching Angie now, getting side by side, and well ahead of our web. Undercut working to his favour. Now, Big Melt in DRS range of Fexen, very helpful for his race. They're going for the overcut strategy for the medium tyres late on. So it is important that they work together and then fight each other after the stops. And K5 M5 pits. K5 now into the pits. He's done an overcut. He's taken those tyres quite long. I think K5 ran the tyres a little longer than the ideal, but now he gets the fresher rubber to the end. And does he emerge out of DRS threat from our web? This will be important, and he does. So now we no longer have a DRS dogfight. It is a straight fight between K5 and Angie for the race win. Can K5 close down on Angie? 3 lap is the difference between their hard tyres. And don't forget Fexen, don't forget Big Melt. Still in the fight. They'll have to box on lap 18 or 19. Big Melt saving all his battery. All of it. So is Fexen. And Big Melt peels into the pit lane now to make a change of tyres. Slow on his marks. Now. Right, Tricks the old hard tyres now. He's running on his own. But he'll get ahead of Arcas and Port Accelerate. Fexen now needs to use up all his battery and then box this lap or next lap. Needs to absolutely pin it. Melt now has the best tyres to the end. But K5, his tyres are not that bad either, so it will be tough for Melt. But first opponent, Mumford. Arcas, Luke, now diving it into the pit lane. Both of them stop it at the same time. They're both running their races together, it seems. DRS open for Big Melt. This has to be a move to get done this lap, and he does. Now, what have we got to watch? Just Big Melt making his way through the field. Now, Muta is the one next. Muta got a massive undercut. That's why he's ahead of Big Melt now. But those hard tyre and their age is going to catch up. And Fexen's going to box. Hopefully. Yep, he does. Now Fexen will be the man with the best tyres. K5 M5, fastest lap of the race. And Muta goes defensive, but no point. Big Melt sails past. Easy work made of Big Melt, of Muta. And K5 M5 with 3 lap fresher hards now enters DRS range. Now, the critical thing for K5, we cannot have your fight because you don't want to invite more drivers into the battle than necessary. Big Melt is right there. R-Web also right there. So, if you want to sit within DRS of Angie, and then strike first, strike fast, never look back. And with your better tyres, that should not be too difficult. Oh, K5, big snap of oversteer. It's not looking too stable aboard the Ferrari. And with a 6/10 gap between them, I just need to jog my memory on quali results. Right, now, back to the stream. Mumford is closing on Muta. Can't get the move done, and Mumford's battery is not only done for, but it's fuel too. R-Web has even more fuel concerns. Big Melt will close. Right. Big Melt now is going to close. Closing, closing, closing. Not enough. Angie, he's not preserving his battery at all. Pretty poor. And now a sported salary past Starcast. Oh! Spin for a hypochondriac. Just about stays out of the way. Right, now 3/10 the gap between K5, Angie, and then 2/10 the gap between R-Web, Big Melt. We might be able to see both Williams making 2 passes in their own respective fights. Angie closes in, so does Big Melt. R-Web will go defensive, but there's no use. And K5 will not go defensive, and they're going to go side by side anyway, and Angie emerges out in front now. K5's battery is much better preserved, so Angie has not done strike first. Oh wait, Angie is the one with the older tyres, and he's repassed, so that was important. K5 should have fought that actually. Now Big Melt is going to close up to the pair of them, and maybe he might drag R-Web along with him. Oh, Mumford mistake. Mistake by Mumford somewhere. Extra thing, turn 9. And he's also pretty screwed on fuel. Now has to reset back in P10 now. Ice Cream will not be happy. K5 will be though. Closing back up and repassing. How are we going to see team orders between Yankee and Big Mel? Mumford now bolts for soft tyres. DRS range for Angie is going to be so important. His tyres are much older, but his spirit is not yet broken. And looking for a send, won't find it. And now K5 has a supreme chance to pull away and win. Angie used up everything he's got. Now he gets past. Now, Angie could do well with backing K5 up into Big Melt. Because as much as Awab cannot be invited into the battle, Big Melt can. If you're Angie. Oh, someone's off. Who is it? Awab off. And now Fexen passes. Does Awab have damage? No. Just went off somewhere. Now. Fexen up to P4. Good stuff. Angie losing battery. K5 has a bit more. And now we may see the consequences. Oh, I'm passing Fexin. Carrying on. 28 laps done. Just 5 more to go. Big Mount not close enough. He does not have the pace to close for this fight. K5 could do well by saving his battery, but he's not going to. Another pass for the lead by Angie, and a pass by Fexin. K5's fighting this back though. K5 seemingly eager to keep the lead now. Oh, damage aboard Angie, I think. Or it's just a slight bit of contact. But that looked very close to damage. It's now Angie down the inside. This is starting to get aggressive now. I thought it was just going to be civil till the last lap, but no, they're already going for it. You're happy because Alpine are in the points? Yeah. Ported Celery's in P9, so you can be happy. K5 and Angie side by side again. I think Angie might be trying to invite Big Mount into the battle now. Now, watching Angie. Going pretty slowly. Yeah, he's definitely backing him up into Big Mount on purpose. Yep, that Williams team orders going on here. They lost about a second to Big Mount. And that's why K5 wanted to pass so badly. And K5 is now going to get the DRS, now going to make a pass. And Big Mount is now back in this battle. Right now, this is where the difference between old hard tyres and less old hard tyres should really start to come into their own. Now those tyres have to surely start falling off a cliff for Angie. Let's watch. Fexin and Webber still battling. Now, K5 and Angie still relatively close to each other. 4/10. And Big Mount on the verge of getting DRS. Is Angie gonna let him have it? Or are they racing to the end? Angie's backing up. And Big Mount's pushing. So yeah, now Big Mount is in this fight for the win. Arcas and Trixie side by side. At Arcas with better tyres. Really showing Trixie what new mediums does for you. Fex and Arweb doing their ritualistic repassing. K5 Angie. Big Melt. K5 Angie. K5 is on none. The battery recovery is insane. Back to medium. Possibly to none again. With 3 laps to go, it looks like K5 is in the lead. Angie's going to try to take it from him. Angie's going to get it from him. And now, he's going to hold up for Big Melt again. This is the Angie tactic. Going around the outside. K5, Angie. Now Angie has firmly brought Big Melt into the battle now. Big Melt was not in with a prayer of this. But now he is. And now K5 closes. with 2 laps to go, K5 is not going to go for it. In fact, Angie is going to burn all his battery, and Big Mel is going to try around the outside, and Big Mel has half spun. We just missed it. I accidentally cut to someone else, but Big Mel seems to have made a mistake, and now he's out of DRS range, and Angie's turn maybe to hold up K5. Let's watch on board. K5 down to none. To the final lap of the race, and K5 is in the ideal position. He has DRS effect, or he will do. On to the final lap of the race, and Fexen is pushing with all his might to stay ahead of R-Web as well. Now we've got 1 lap to go, and now it's going to get elbows out. So, K5 versus Angie, and Big Mel's no longer close enough, thanks to a late race incident, which now puts just Angie, just K5. Angie is on none. He's trying to save everything he can, but he can't, and there's no DRS prank in here. It's too narrow for Chicken. Angie is going to have to settle as now out of the final corner to start the final lap of the Spanish Grand Prix. Angie's not even using anything. K5 is, and K5 sails past. Angie's going to now try use it at the end of the straight to avoid the clipping you get when you overtake it early, but no avail for him, and R-Web passes Fexen. So, looks like DRS worked in the favour of both attackers, and K5M5 is now looking set to take the win, unless Big Melt and Angie may have a scrap with each other, or Fexen may have a scrap back at R-Web. Let's see. 1 more lap. Halfway through the final lap now, and there might be a slight chance for Big Melt to pass his teammate. So, are we going to see anything emerging from the Williams pair on the last lap? R-Web and Fexen still close by each other. So, K5M5 now is the last overtaking zone pretty much ruled out. So it is going to look like that from an embarrassing qualifying crash, which left him only P6 on the grid, K5M5 is now around the final corners, mastering the Spanish Grand Prix with a race victory. Great stuff from K5. Angie did let Big Melt through at the end, and R-Web got P4 with Fexen in P5. Trixie P6, Muta, and then Arcas fighting to the line. Trixie got a warning right at the final corners, and that demotes Trixie down to P8. And that's all she wrote when it comes to the Spanish Grand Prix of Division 2. It's a race win for K5M5. Then it's Big Melt. Then it's Angie. R-Web, Fexen, Muta, Arcas, Trixie, Bolted Celery got the fastest lap in the end there. Must have boxed for a set of new softs or something. Did he? Yeah, he did. Race director for anyone who wants it. How late did he stop for softs? Right, on the last lap. Okay. Maybe he should have not stopped, because then he'd have been capitalizing on Trixie, surely. Right, so see ya. Division 1 tomorrow. Be there.